So it's a nice sunny weekend. Well, it's always sunny here. It is blisteringly hot. Been for a run, having a relaxing afternoon, and I thought I'd do a bit of an unboxing of a recent purchase. So pretty excited about this. So celebrate, of course, having a Negroni. Trying this new gin. This new, I don't know where it's from actually. I think it's Italian gin. So it's interesting. It's quite nice. Anyway, so it's a new watch. Just open it up, and it's Tudor. So Tudor came out, with Watches and Wonders this year, and I looked at a lot of the watches that were released, and I think Rolex was. I think everyone agreed that Rolex is pretty weird in terms of some of their releases. Some of the patterns they had on their dials. The Explorer was a disappointment. People thought there'd be changes with the Daytona, but there weren't. They thought maybe the Deep Sea might be discontinued. That wasn't. And really, I think Rolex disappointed a lot of people. So Tudor really smashed it out of the ballpark. So it's funny how much like Rolex boxes this is. They released, there was a silver one that looked pretty 39mm and had a glass case back. There was an unusual solid green one, a solid gold one, a few Chronos, and pretty much like all of them. I'll probably get the silver one as well. Anyway, to this one. So we have the box. So these are easy to get. You can just, I just phoned up the dealer and, he said I could have one, so I went and picked it up a few days ago. So there we go. Went for the Tudor Chrono in black. So they've got two versions of this. Let me just take the sticker off there. So I've got two versions, the Panda dial and then the reverse Panda dial. This is obviously the reverse Panda dial. So the reason I got this one was I'm meant to be getting a Daytona that would be a Panda dial anyway. So I thought if I've got, the Tudor that's black and then the Rolex Daytona that is white, then, it gives a bit of a mix. So hopefully that should be coming soon. So let's just take it off the strap, off the cushion. There's not much in the box, usual bit of paperwork. So there we go. And this model, the Chrono, hasn't really been popular for quite a long time. Well, I mean, it's popular, but there was a lot of complaints about some of the design features. I don't like the gold one they've got, and I think with this one they really knocked it out of the park. This is a real throwback to the classic kind of look, and it's unmistakable that it looks like very similar to a Daytona. Obviously, Tudor's the the sister company of Rolex as well, basically Rolex. Let me just take some of the stickers off. So about the movement, the movement is borrowed from Breitling. They've got a weird partnership where they, Breitling takes some of theirs and then Tudor takes some of Breitling's. Man, this is really stuck on. But then Tudor does heavily modify it. So it's got 70-hour power reserve, so makes it weekend proof, so to speak. And they have made modifications to the movement, so it's a very good movement, COSC certified. Having trouble speaking. Just take more of the stickers off. Leave the sticker on the back. There's the back. So it's a really good movement. It comes with a date function. It's got sapphire glass, so that's lovely as well. One thing that people don't like is the rivets. Again, it's got the rivets. It's the same I'm wearing yeah, the Tudor GMT at the moment. To be honest, I quite like the rivets. I don't really, you know, notice it that much when you're wearing it. It's, you know, it's not something that kind of catches your eye all the time. So anyway, I quite like it. The other thing is these are screw down, but I actually really like that as well, because it kind of is a real throwback to, you know, being vintage as well. I quite like the fact you have to unscrew them. I mean, let's be honest, no one is using this to time anything, or at least I'm not going to. I'm going to use my iPhone. So yeah, it's quite nice, satisfying click. And I do love the you know, the red little tip of that arrow as well, so that's pretty cool. Stop it there, go back. Yeah, so I really like the fact it's a screw down. A little bit of sticker there, I think. So what else? The snowflake dials on this could be, just try and unscrew this, could be annoying for some people, because, you know, as it is now, it just happens to be in this time, but it's quite obscuring, you know, the dials there. So if you've got, let me just get this right, you know, it's quite covering a lot of the dial with that great big snowflake at the tile, you know. It's like that, yeah, it's fine, but if you're timing, you could, you know, they're so big and chunky, they could definitely obscure some of it. Anyway, overall, I really like the design. I love the, you know, this is, if you're comparing it to a Daytona, which is 100 meters water resistance, this is 200 meters, so that's obviously great. Let's take my sunglasses off. Around the side, it's a little thinner than the previous model, so it's 14.4 millimeters, I think. So it's about half a millimeter thinner. And around the side, it's quite a slab. So if I just take my GMT off, just compare it. It's so hot on the roof today. Probably sweating all over these watches. So there we go. It's very hard to tell. Yeah, the GMT is thicker, but I mean, it's not something you're going to notice. These are chunky watches anyway. I think that's quite hard to tell the difference. So really, I mean, I think if you're looking at a, you know, Daytona or one of these, you can just walk in and buy these. So really, I think these are good. These definitely feel more solid than my other Daytona in terms of the size. You know, Daytonas, you know, a lot of people say they're almost women's watches. They're very dainty and small. And I know there was a lot of discussion this year about them, you know, maybe being bulked up by a millimeter. But yeah, I think this is, you know, it's like a solid watch. I'm not going to, you know, wrap this up or worry about knocking it around. I mean, the GMT I, you know, wear in the pool, wear to the gym, you know, all over the place. So it'll be the same with this. And I think it's, yeah, it's a great watch. And it's, in terms of the value for money as well, this is $7,200 Singapore dollars. So that's, you know, Daytona, apart from, you know, that being such a cheap price, that Daytona is going to cost you way more, and obviously be very hard to get. So the fact you can just, you know, walk in and buy one of these. And it's also a bit strange that, you know, Breitling, their Chrono watches are quite a lot more expensive. So the fact that they, you know, give these movements to Tudor, and then, you know, Tudor put them in these watches and sell them for far cheaper, then it's also a little strange. So let me just move that out a bit. You can see how it is, but sweaty palm. So there we have it on the wrist. It's basically the same as the GMT. And I do actually quite like the rivets. So overall, it's, yeah, it's a great looking watch. Just to compare it to, I got one of my Rolexes here. So this actually looks very similar. So that's 43. I'll do another video comparing maybe the Daytona or some of the models. So yeah, that's looks very, very similar in terms of the size. Yeah, the Rolex is bigger, but yeah, it's not something you really notice. Thickness, God, it's about the same as well. So yeah, this is going to be much thicker and bigger than a Submariner. Anyway, I'll do another comparison video on that later. But yeah, overall, I think this is a real Rolex killer in terms of, you know, it's going to be a daily wear as a, you know, chrono option compared to the Daytona. Yeah, it's a brilliant watch, great price, great build quality, design is awesome, and it's amazing. So looking forward to wearing it. Thanks for watching, and any comments, put them below.